And hello everybody, it's me, the Heroscaper. And today we are painting old Scarlett here. A character from G.I. Joe who has some very bright colors. We're going to work on making these appear a little bit more realistic and functional. Some bright colors, we're going to work our way up and kind of try to make this unusual color palette work. See, we have a very autumnal color palette here today with lots of browns and yellows and oranges, just to kind of try to balance all these together. I do hope everyone is doing well today. It's been a long week, so let's just get started. There we go. Alright, so we're going to start first with the facial features and work our way up. We have some warm brown on our palette here. We'll build this color up to more of a Caucasian level of flesh tone. Yo, Inventive, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. You notice we did prime with white today. That's mainly because we're using a lot of bright colors, and that's going to save us a lot of time building up our yellows and our oranges without having to put 30 layers on to cover over black. I finally got around to watching one of those videos you sent me. I watched the history of the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, which I was actually pretty interested in. I thought that was a good feature. It definitely made me yearn for the nostalgia of 2004 webisode animation. Kind of like the old Heroscape videos. I wouldn't say they're good, like, compared to today, but they are interesting. They hit the right spots. I will say I'm not the biggest fan of her colors. I was halfway tempted to paint her green, but we just have so much green we've been painting recently. I thought it'd be a fun challenge to paint the actual colors. Looking at how it's arranged, okay. Welcome, James. Yeah, it's not good, but it is enjoyable. Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. I thought the storytelling aspect was really nice. Hope everyone's week has been going well. Let's just get a little bit more ISO. I'm working on getting a new phone so I can better do this. Are just not designed for how much I move my monowall painting. Let's see if we can. Okay, so we're starting with this dark tone here just to really give us some breathing room when we start layering up. Next we're going to take some burnt red and some brown, that warm brown we used. We're going to make like a mahogany color, and we're going to put this on the hair. We're using this very thin. You want the white to show through. And I'm going to build this up too. personally covering that. This is honestly a pretty good model. If you're looking to use speed paints, I'd recommend just using that for this. Speed paints work really well with brighter colors. I'm not using that today, but part of me wishes I was. I'm kind of using a very thin consistency today. We got new releases coming out soon. Trying to get some stuff done before May 4th. She's deceptively strong in the right circumstances. I haven't had a chance to play her yet. I'm playing her in one of the online games in a weird build, but this is her with Duke and the 53rd Carolina. No, what's the VC squad? That's like kind of like 4th Mass, but not. I forget, the 53rd, I believe. Okay. Thorman should be coming out soon. Yeah, I'm ready for Thorman. Bring me Thorman. I keep on wanting to play him in events, and he's technically not legal yet, so I'm just like, I want him to arrive. I'm going to be hosting my first event here pretty soon. I don't know if anyone's in the Kansas area, but I got a date marked down for the first Saturday of May. I believe it's May 2nd, and I'm getting that prepped. So wish me luck in that regard. I'm still figuring out what format I want to do. I'm thinking, just since it's kind of a beginner, I'm trying to build a scene here in Kansas City. And I'm thinking it's just going to be like a 530 point A- and under is what I'm thinking. I'm not sure. Just keep it simple for the first one. I think we'll have some newer players or not fully integrated in the competitive scene players. But yeah, I'm excited. Just gotta get that prepped on my end. But I'm excited about Thorman. I'll be ready to crack him open. The Kraken will be fun too. Unfortunately, my airbrush has become a little finicky, so hopefully that gets fixed, because that will help me paint my Kraken up a lot easier. I'm hoping it's a bit of a fun time. I imagine it'll be a bit smaller, just because we're starting off, but I'm looking forward to it. If I seem a little absent-minded today, I apologize. I'm about 3 hours of sleep today, so I just could not go to sleep last night. I have that problem. I'm a little bit of an insomniac, so I may not be fully cogent tonight, but you know what? Hopefully we can all get a little bit of painting done today. I'm kind of trying to get some stuff done before the deluge happens of new units. Yeah, Scarlett, I think, has a really nice kit for Heroscape. I really like what she can do. I think she's a really good use of 80 points. It's tough because the 80 point kind of character option is filled with so many good options, especially if you're using non-delta points. How much terrain does one need to run an event? I'm not sure. I haven't. One video I want to make is showcasing how much terrain I have, where I just make a map showing off everything. I have a lot of terrain. I have enough terrain to build 9 maps, 10 maps easily. But from what I've seen, you know, usually, I mean, it depends on your player count. But, you know, for ScapeCon, they have, if you've never been to ScapeCon, they have like buckets and buckets of terrain. Like they have to almost bring like a trailer for, you know, 80 maps, 100 maps. Early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. See, I obeyed that to the rule of the letter. I went to bed at 3:30 and I woke up at 7:30. So I guess I'm on 4 hours of sleep. So I went to bed early and I woke up early. Just not early on the day before. That's the worst part is I was actually trying to be responsible. And I went to bed and I was in bed at a decent hour, and I just like stared at my ceiling for 5 hours. How long does it take to build 10 maps? I don't know. I do not know. I'm a pretty slow map builder, so this is going to be an experience for me. Thankfully, the event is at a my parents own like an event center on their property, so I can kind of prep it ahead of time. Just do it the day before. But it takes me like 20 minutes to build one map. So, probably a couple hours. It'll definitely be a learning experience on my end. And we're using a warm brown right now. Golden warm brown, I think it's called. Just to get these kind of undertones for this yellow that we're building up. Yellow is a finicky color. Thankfully, this is more of an ochre we're going to be building to. But yeah, if it's map building from scratch, it'll say a few hours for sure. Make sure no one steals your trees. Has that happened before? Yeah, I'll have to, I'm still working out all the details of it. It might be a bust, just because I know I've met a couple of, I know there's people around that, in the area that have played Heroscape before. And I've kind of met up with a few of them, but there's never been too much. There's been one event in Kansas City, and that was run by someone else, and I kind of showed up. But it's just too much work for me to do at the game store. The game store is like about 40 minutes away, the nearest one that can kind of support a big crowd. And I just, you know, you need that prep time of just sitting up beforehand. And that game store doesn't like to have Heroscape events on Saturday, where most people are free. So it's like you don't want to do a Friday late afternoon tournament. I don't know. You'd be paranoid. Yeah, I have a bunch of trees, but yeah, I mean, I don't want anyone to steal any of my stuff or any of it to get lost. But I guess that's the risk of it all. Don't steal my stuff. See, I like using white because it's really good to know if your layers are thin enough, because you theoretically should see a little bit of the color poking through in your first layer. But also, I like to paint kind of fast, so painting black just hides so much mistakes, just because you can just kind of have that stuff fill in and naturally shadows. So it's kind of a give and take of which one you prefer more. But really, if you're working with majority yellow or bright colors, white's a better option. Black, black primer or undercoat is really just dark blue on a scientific level. So when you put yellow paint over it, yellow is a very thin paint, very translucent, just because there's not a lot of deep pigmentation available on it. That's how you get that greenish-y looking color. You of course can kind of bypass that by doing 20 layers of yellow over black, but that runs the risk of clogging up details or doing that kind of stuff. And like I said, these are kind of more of a muted yellow, so we have a little bit of leeway with that. But if you're doing something like wanting to paint a canonical Eisenach, like an Iron Lich, then try some contrast or speed paints over a pure white or a gray with a white dry brush. It'll look really, really nice. Or if you're feeling spicy, you could use pink and then a white dry brush, and you get this really nice deep yellow color. Rid of the Planeswalker had these great puzzle piece maps that were easy to set up. Yeah, honestly, like, I have a bunch of those. I think Heroscape could, for at least the tournament scene, just could go for a few of those. Like, it's less fun, you get a little bit less of the spectacle, but I do think it would be a lot more of a portable game. Because right now, it's kind of like, you get to a point where you start getting too much stuff, where it's hard to move and categorize, like, keep everything relatively organized. That's kind of... I would love some officially designed Heroscape storage solutions, but I don't think we'll ever get that. I don't even know if I would buy it. I would just love for it to exist. Okay, we're gonna use some burnt red on these parts. We're just really sloppily filling in these colors, and we're gonna be tightening them up here pretty soon. We're getting a nice solid base coat going. We're gonna get some black ink, which is nice. It's just a really thick and pure concentrated pigment, at least this brand is. And we're gonna thin it down to a glaze consistency over the black parts. That way we can have a bit of that white showing through and save us a bit of time on highlighting black, which is kind of a pain. It's very delicate highlighting black. Just because too much it starts to look gray or white, and not enough it doesn't show through. It's a very delicate balance to do it well. And we're going to be doing a couple passes over this till it's a nice solid color. This model will really come alive once we start doing some highlights and some additional layers. Yeah, I like the Arena of the Planeswalker terrain. I don't necessarily like how they don't always like match when they fit together. I feel like they could have been a bit better designed, but I like the concept of it. I use those tiles for my D&D campaigns a lot. I thought for a second the thing on her shoulder was like a Koopa turtle shell. Stop the bits. There you go. Oh, I forget we're getting the ship coming out soon too. That's exciting. I'm looking forward to that ship. See what else is going on. I'm signed up for a couple events this month, so I'll be going to some events. And there's a store championship in Wichita. There's Chris Perkins' cheese event online, and just signed up for OHS Season 67, which is an Insanity of the Battle format, which is fun. You just pretty much, you and your opponent get to put your pieces all over the map. Which, I honestly, I'm bad at development, so I kind of like playing that format a lot. I'm bad at counting spaces. Like, it's my biggest hindrance as a Heroscape player. I need at least 3 of the ships are going to make a triangle. Yes! Make a Bermuda Triangle of lost ships. Because I've only like seen, they had the reveal at Gen Con, but it was like on the very bottom shelf of their little display cabinet, so I had to like squat down to look at it. But honestly, it's kind of, I've forgotten most of the stuff they've like, I'm gonna get in the mail. I've forgotten what I've ordered, what's coming. So it's always kind of like, oh wait, yeah, all these things exist. Someone commissioned me recently to paint like 5 squads of their revenants that are coming away, and I was like, okay. I forgot the revenants were even here. I hope we get one more Kyrie Warrior for Revenant, at least. Just because Miserex right now has kind of such limited use, and it'd be cool to have like a very strong Revenant figure that can kind of tie all the units together. We need a Revna figure with some kind of aura, some kind of enhancement for undead, and then that whole faction would start cooking. So we're getting there. We're just adding these tones here. Make sure we get all our respective little areas. I just gotta keep on looking at it. Let's see her back here. For some reason, it's not wanting to flow in this little part here. I might just get some standard speed paint because the ink is being a little finicky. Sometimes white primer doesn't has a little bit of repellent on it that makes it hard for it to flow. Not all the time. It could just also be the humidity formed a little layer around it. I did spray this at pretty high wind too, so that might have created some weird chemical reaction. I need to get some more black speed paint. I'm really excited for the new comics coming out, but it's going to be a lot of. We're going to be painting a lot in this channel, or we're going to be working our way through all the new stuff here. It's a busy time of life for me right now, so it's like, oh man, I gotta play catch up on all this stuff here. There we go. If I could just not move, the focus would love that there. But I'm kind of a jittery painter. I kind of always I'm moving all over the place. The key when you're using speed paints is you want it a lot thicker than you initially think you want to apply it. It dries a lot lighter, and you need it to kind of settle in those respective grooves and crevices for the maximum effect. We're going with this lighter gray because it'll make adding some shadows a little bit easier, kind of doing it in reverse. Okay, so we're looking pretty good so far. It's nice. I mean, you could bring this up just a little bit and play with this if you so wanted, but we're gonna try to make this sing a little bit more. Having a strong base layer is very nice for your model. Should look somewhat completed with your base layer, at least somewhat functional. It's also just important to go through and any layers that seem a little bit too thin or not fully covered, you want to go through and thinly apply a few more layers to fill all that in. Okay, we can put a little bit more skin tone here. Let's get some skin tone going here. Find my shadow flash. If not, I'll just use the basic stuff. Now we'll just use the basic stuff. Never mind, I like to use some advanced flesh tone, which is a really good kind of orangey color. It gives you a lot of room to build. Actually, I found the paint I was looking for. Shadow Flesh is a really just good neutral color. Recently, I've been painting Shrinkudinks with alcohol ink. Wonder Shrinkudinks. Oh, okay. Those are cool. Like little keychain type of deals, it looks like. I think. Maybe I'm wrong with that, but either way, that's pretty cool. Yeah, inks are really interesting. They have kind of a... I haven't messed around with alcohol inks too much. I'm mainly use acrylic inks, but just the thinness and the viscosity they have, it's a little hard to control. But it's more like honestly doing watercolor than acrylic kind of style of painting. Shrinku. So we're covering about 90% of that brown tone with the shadow flash. Really just going to build it out beyond it. What is a shrinky dink? Now I'm just confused. Are they like little... Is it like a craft thing? It looks... I think I'm Googling it. So it looks like it's a... How does it work? You like draw it, and is it pre-made shapes? No, that's okay. So it looks like you like plastic paper, then you cut it out and color it in, and then you like make little keychains and little fun things and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. I didn't know this existed. I might have to pick some up. I know my kids would absolutely love that. I can't draw. That's my biggest. It's my biggest weakness. Is I wish I could draw a whole lot better. I would love to learn. I just don't have time. But my sister can draw really, really good. She like teaches does a little bit of art teaching on the side. So maybe she can draw me some fun stuff. If you ever order anything from me, sometimes you'll get a little bit like I turn some of her art into stickers that she sells to me or we trade for. We're getting some dark vermilion now and just really kind of bringing up the color of this red. plastic and you bake it. That's cool. I have to look into that. Me and the kids do a lot of those little kind of art stuff. My oldest is pretty into painting with me as well. He's done pretty good. Considering he's only 7 or 6. Well, he was 6 when he started painting, so. Alright, so we're going to get some of this standard ochre and mix it with this brown, and we're going to start kind of sketching in where we want these lights to go. Outlining the outer edges and just kind of defining these shapes from being kind of uninteresting blobs to something a little bit more substance and volume to it. Fun for kids with pre-made shapes to color any whole sheets and get pretty crazy with them. Yeah, I'm definitely check it out. They'll love it, especially in the winter months, where you run out of things. I have 3 kids, 3 kids under 7, and in the winter months, you run out of things to do. There's only so much you can do in a day. Where you're like, I've done everything. We played Legos, we watched our show, we colored, we painted, and it's only 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So having a repertoire of fun activities is always nice to have on hand. Alright, we're going to get a little bit, we're going to take some of this burnt red, and we're going to mix this with some burnt orange, just to kind of create this very subtle red orange that's dark, overcooked. And we're going to kind of follow the outermost lines of the hair, trying to keep the shadows there, and again, just slowly build up a little substance for Scarlett hair. The challenge we have today is kind of getting these colors in that are very similarly warm and kind of in the same level of kind of coordination, and have them feel separate from each other. Have the reds and the yellows, and the oranges, which all kind of share similar base colors with the red and yellow. And there's that light that turned on, and have them be distinct and separate from each other, not turn into some kind of amorphous looking blob. Go down to a narrower. We're going to go down to a more narrow brush. Narrower is too hard for me to say. Uh, now we're just going to go more to a pure ochre. And I'm going to just do this, keeping more of the previous layer. Still visible. We're keeping our paint pretty thin, so it just steadily builds up. Hair, let's just go to this burnt orange. Start bringing this up here. We're going to tone all this armor down to fill in the shadows with some brown wash here in a second. Now we're using some bright ochre just to fill in some of these highlights here. So the model's really going to come alive with the highlights. It's really where we're going to tell the stories here. Burnt orange, some standard orange. I'm doing just less and less with each each layer. I will say that actually the hair is pretty well sculpted on Scarlett. Like, they did a good job with the individual elements. I'm gonna pick out specifically her nose, her cheeks, her chin, just to make her skin tone a bit brighter. We're definitely brightening this up. It's tough, honestly. The angle of the crossbow does make it hard to do anything too significant. There's me just kicking the camera. We're taking our original caramel brown and just very subtly kind of blending this over some of the areas where we went a bit too bright now. Kind of toning it back down. Painting like this is just a lot of bring it up, then slowly bring it back down to kind of get to a point where you want. We get the shadows and the highlights kind of coalesce.
I didn't want to do this, but you forced me to. Let's settle this once for all. Now, two set violin, this is war. You disrespect the bass, and now you're gonna get on by me, Davey 504. By the end of this video, you ain't gonna talk no more. Body said you're gonna
great so far. Well, thank you. Yeah, we're getting there.
You're gonna see why. I will prove you violin is bad. Just listen to me. It's as simple as that.
If I still go and brush, try some details with it, but I don't know where I put it. Wish I could help. Wish I could tell you where you put it at. If you're anything like me, it's either somewhere where you least expect or the refrigerator. I've lost a few. I put a few models in the fridge before. I was just walking around getting a drink and put the put the figure I was working on in the fridge. Time I froze my cell phone. We're just going up to pure orange.
Very weak. The bass guitar is so big and strong. It's gonna make your pee-pee very, very long. Bass only needs a few notes, get people moving. Now give me some drums and let's start grooving. The violin man, when I hear you I get bored. Irritating like nails scratching on a chalkboard. Why do you hold the violin with a chain? You can't even slap it, now that's a sin. The bass can fit in many songs and places. The only place the violin belongs is the bin. Let's get it, say it's the best, or you're gonna regret it.
Yeah, I really love this formula for hair. It just looks. Listen to Davey 5. I don't know what I'm listening to actually right now. I just put something on.
You try to expose me by saying I'm fake, but learning the violin is a piece of cake. You challenge me again to play a song. Watch carefully, you're about to get on.
Oh yeah. I think he just does all the bass riff stuff. So I put him on just to mix him up. I forgot I had a plan, honestly. Yeah, something upbeat. I was getting a little tired of the same track. It's hard finding good music, so. But yeah, he has an hour-long playlist of slap bass, so I was feeling something different. Let's get just a little bit of white, yellow in here. Yeah, it's tough finding music. Like my music is very, very eclectic. Have I checked out or glass beams? No. Helong or glass beams. I'll have to check that out. That looks cool. I love when people recommend me music. Because I've listened to so much music that I've listened to it all. I may not like all the music recommended to me, but I do enjoy discovering new music. Okay, got a little bit of white peeking through here. Let's tidy it up a bit. Nothing beats Motley Crue. My biggest weakness is I can never remember band and their respective songs that they have. I can never be like, oh yeah, I know what a Motley Crue song is, I just can't think of any at this moment. But as soon as you say it, I'll be like, oh yeah, that band. I have too much Heroscape information in my brain to remember band names and song titles. Let's see here. Let's get a little bit of yellow in this. Let's just boost up the color slightly. Let's use actually a transparent just to blend these to a higher tone. If I have any left, there you go. The last of my transparent yellow. Just to kind of give this more of a warmer tone. Let's see if this where we want to go. Just slightly. Gives us a little room to work down with. It's starting to look kind of dull. The yellow might be a little bit too bright, but it gives us just a little bit of that flexibility. Take some warm flesh and a little bit of that orange we used. This like reminds me of like a Watchmen character at this point. And we're gonna just pick out a few strands. Scarlett's colors have gotten brighter over the years. The original figure had tan armor and gray pants. I did notice there was a couple variations of it. Does Lady J have any more interesting color schemes? Because I've been wanting to paint her, but I just don't want to paint another figure like camo green. So if she has like a cooler mold scheme, I might do that one. The King MJ. I'm happy with how these highlights are looking on the hair. Really getting there. Alright, let's start working on the black leather. Okay, let's get a, you know what, honestly, let's go just a light gray and we'll tone it down. I think is the best way to do this. I can find my detail brush. Let's see here. Maybe it's in the fridge. Might be able to use this one. It's not the one I'm looking for, but yeah, the tip is a little sketchy. Let's spend half a second and actually look for this. The right brush. No. I gotta move it somewhere else. This one might work. And we're using dark gray now. We're starting to kind of add some outlines to the black areas. It's very, very subtle is the plan. Actually, let's use more of a brighter gray. Looked into it, there are many repaint colors for Lady J. I guess I could be creative and make my own, but I'll just paint her green. But I watched that ninja thing, and we need the what's his name? What's the like armor ninja's name? Hard Iron? Is that his name? I have no memory left for new things. Whoever that armor ninja was, I would love a Heroscape figure for that. Because he was cool. He could kind of be like equip people with things. I don't know what his lore is, but he's cool. Is it Hard Iron? No. No, hard. Oh, that was his only appearance? Oh, that's crazy. He's such a cool character. He's kind of like the armorer in The Mandalorian. Kind of just this mysterious figure. That's pretty cool. I think he'd be cool. And it seems like there's a bunch more ninjas we could add. What's on her back? Are these crossbow bolts? I think they are. So there's like some G.I. Joe characters that just show up one time and never show up again. Tiger Claw was repainted Kamakura, but that cartoon was his only appearance too. So that cartoon just had just started throwing some Glorbos in there, just like yeah. That's funny. Since we had a little bit of color variation with that translucent yellow, we're able to kind of work this color a little bit more to our favor. It was just looking a little, it was just looking a little uninteresting to me. So now we had just some slight variation in the tone, and also just kind of merge these colors a bit. And I felt like it just overall gave us a bit more breathing room. There are a lot of one-appearance G.I. Joe characters. Would you prefer Heroscape to add in more of the lesser known, like the one appearance Heroscape, the G.I. Joe figures, or more of the well-known ones, if you had to choose? Okay, let's get some bright shadow flash. We're going to mix this with some dark shadow flash. If you notice, I just really take the layer before it with a new color, and that really helps bridge the colors and make them not as sharp. Just a little bit, just to make the jump a bit more smooth. There's still a lot of better known ones to do. I think you've mentioned before, but what's the most notable exception? Like that's like why isn't he here? Or she? So I know Sergeant Slaughter is one that people would like to see. Probably Hawk. Zartan. I haven't seen a Zartan in my research. What's Zartan's deal? He looks very 80s. He is the child of the 80s. Is he a good guy or a bad guy? Man, I'm not trying to rage bait you. I'm really trying to I'm trying to learn more. Man, this angle of his face is killing me here. Let's get these highlights a little bit more cleaned in. He can blend in terrain and change his appearance. He can impersonate anyone. He's the one that killed the Hard Master. He leads a group of mercenaries that work for Cobra called the Dreadnoks. Okay, that sounds pretty cool. So there's a lots of stuff you can do ability-wise for him. I just wish I was confident enough to wear his outfit. I like some of his comic art a little bit better. Where he has like the armor and the RAH, I think is what it's saying. That version looks pretty cool. I wonder when the next... Yeah, he's kind of Mad Max inspired. My favorite theory about Mad Max when it was originally out was just that the rest of the world isn't even a nuclear apocalypse. That's just how Australia is. That's just power went out for one day in Australia and they all devoted to that. I'm sad Furiosa did so bad at box office because that means we won't be getting Mad Max for a long time. And it makes me sad. It wasn't as good as Fury Road, but it was still worth a watch. We're pretty more Joe, huh? Ready for the May wave? Not in the slightest. I'm trying to. I have some chain gruts that are just staring at me that I'm not looking forward to doing. I think it's just. I think I have to go not the color scheme. Someone posted a really good version with them with red shirts and like tied the whole thing together. It's better cut. Like the green isn't doing it for me for those guys. So I'm kind of unmotivated. Especially since it's kind of the same green as the elites and like pretty much everything that wave. Like there's so much green between Joe and everything else. And I like green. But it's like, I don't know. I need to paint them. I have 5 squads to paint, and the elites, and I've been getting through them though. Just got some cash for mounting a TV. Bought Thorman the Kraken. Pretty pumped. Yeah, we like Thorman and the Kraken on this channel. This is the Thorman Kraken fan club here. Like those are cool models, regardless of how you feel about them competitively, whether they're broken or they're not good at all. They're cool sculpts, and as a fan of the lore and history, it makes sense that Thorman has shown up. Yeah, I'm anxiously waiting for him. Oh, let's see here. Let's get a little bit of shade on this. Yeah, but we're making our way through. I might have to start streaming 2 days a week, or do one like really late night stream one day. Roguescape or After Dark, where I become more alive than I normally am right now. Let's see here. Let's look for some rounds. Let's get a little royal brown going on here. Only got 3 sets of the chain grats, but my son really likes playing them, and I like playing them, so now I'm in trouble. Mechanically, I love the chain grats. I think I've been a little bummed because of the size differences between them. Like it's kind of discouraged me a little bit, but I just headcanon that's how they are. It's more of the small one. Like the big one is okay. Just the really, really small chain grat, I don't know, it just kind of throws it off for me. But I love how they play. I love what they do to an army. I even like the concept. I like the goofy fedoras and the all that kind of stuff. Alright, we have some royal brown ink here. We're kind of just blending these colors again. Adding some shading. Very softly. The difference between classic and contemporary or just the variance of contemporary box? I can get over that these orcs are different size than contemporary just because, classic just because they used a weird scaling system that's not really like standard anymore. Like we've kind of moved on beyond like big chunky models. Like I feel like almost like we've as a society have lost the art of making those kind of models. And making them good. I know some companies still make them like that, but so I can kind of hand wave that a little bit, but with themselves, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Like it's pretty like it's not even like one's just like a short one. It's like the slider on the scale was just messed up. I try to keep my unboxings and my reviews pretty just like you can make your own decisions, but I was trying hard not to be really disappointed by the by the size discrepancies within the own squads. And the elites are really small. I just think it was some kind of weird, I don't know, some kind of weird issue. But I've been making my way through the Gret writers, what's his name, Headbutt guy. I've been making my way through those, which are for me a lot more satisfying to paint because they have dinosaurs. I think last stream we did our Sheriff Woody one, which I was really happy with. Where is the one I've been working on? Wait for some paint to dry. Let's see here. I don't know where he moved to. One of these days, I'll know where things are. It is not this day. But I've been working on a fun blending mode for one of them. They got a lot of different paints, but I don't know where he went. Now this is going to bug me. Hold on just 1 second. It's going to be soon, any day soon. Even though order status changes. Yeah, I did get notification from Renegade that they prepared my order, which usually means it's about to ready to ship. So, so it'll probably be by the end of the week, I'm guessing. maybe the next week, the latest. But here's one of my riders I'm working on. I've been really working on trying to build some more brighter colors. I'm just kind of getting bored of more duller colors. I'm trying to kind of increase my volume and output. Kanaka's Toy Story's Jessie to match. I'm tempted. The problem is I haven't seen the model very close. I don't know if she has enough hair to justify the homage, because it feels like without the red hair, it might fall a little flat. But I do like the idea. I wish Kanak had one more power, even if it was just like a flavor power. At the end of the day, it's just like, why are you a Grut, Kanak? You don't even work with the new Gruts that were just released. You're just kind of a Grut for the sake of being a Grut. Yeah, whoever said that it feels like Kanak is missing like a anti-shadow power definitely hit on the mark. Like, she has so much like light on like source on her model, and shadow is such a prevalent source of tech in Secrets of the Citadel. It just feels like something's missing. Yeah, that like negating the nearby shadow tiles with the flashlight would give her just a little bit of like, okay, this makes sense. Doesn't explain why she's an orc, but it justifies her more beyond than. I wish Kanak was just a hard-boiled detective that followed Valeric. Like, I think it would be more cool as a human than as a Grut. The biggest little nitpick I have is like how we've characterized these Gruts so far. They're kind of like thuggish, you know. They're not necessarily like private. Like, it's in contrast with what we've had revealed about the Gruts so far. I don't know. I feel like that's, and I think mechanically she's fine. It's just more thematically. I think she kind of misses the mark. But everything else in Secrets, really looking forward to. SI4X, I got plans for you. I'm really excited about running SI with Thorman. My little Thorman pod I've devised. Just Thorman with height and +1 defense is really, really tanky. Like, he gets really, like, if you were able to boost Thorman just even a little bit, since he's a flying single space figure with range, he becomes a monster. Especially since you can just move support around so freely to enable him. The one thing I don't understand about Thorman is why he has King synergy and why he's an admiral. Like, it just feels a little bit like doing too. Like, is anyone running Thorman with Scions? I don't know. I don't think it's a good build. Yeah, but negating shadow tiles. I kind of wish they gave her the multi-class of champion and lawman just so she could bond with the new Gruts. I don't know if that's broken. Probably makes her too strong, but I don't know. Something to justify it. I hope they at least release kind of like some kind of animal companion that kind of works with her specifically to at least justify it. Some kind of like detective, like primitive, like saber-toothed dog would be kind of funny. One prehistoric animal I really want is some prehistoric sloths. I think it would be fun if it gave you the option to lose initiative, which you don't always want to do, but early game, it often helps to not have initiative go for it. Like, give you some of that flexibility and just make it like tanky and slow. we're getting there. We're building up our layers. Okay, let's take this and mix this with a bit of warm flesh, just for some highlights. We're kind of softening the edges by taking the color that was underneath it and just kind of blending them together. Just a little bit of soft wet blending there. They put the crossbow right by her face. It's a bit tricky to get in there. Oh, I forgot to mention a tornado hit our hit our town like yesterday. I guess that was a thing of momentous import that happened to me. Thankfully, I was just right on the cusp of it. But my parents tossed their trampoline from their house 300 feet into the main road in front of their home. So, kind of intense weather. I was actually working on editing a video, but we lost power. Like, the whole power grid shut down. Okay, let's get some couple touchdown around us too. Yeah, they're intense. My brother-in-law was coming home from work, and like baseball-sized hail started pummeling his car, shattered his window and broke a couple windows at his house when it went by there. So thankfully it was, I mean, mild in terms of tornadoes. Typical Kansas even, yeah. Ain't that the truth? It's brutal weather. Yeah, it's crazy. It was it was intense. Like the whole town is just having the tree workers are loving it. They're busy for a few days here. Just back and forth. Let's see here. Let's. Let's add a little bit of metallics to this. Okay. There we go. And let's add some white to this. We're going to tone this down, but it gives us a little point to tell where we want these bright lines and kind of these spandexy type of clothes to go. Okay. Very thin layer of red. Now we're going to start covering that over. And let's see Her little shoulder plate thing. We'll have to work on that, I think her art has that as a kind of like a white star in the center. Okay. Oh, the star is very well sculpted. Just glossed up my Maladrox in preparation for a Turbidork lair this weekend. Exciting. I know you were working on for that in times past. What color Turbidork are you going with? I've been kind of wanting to repaint Maladrix. Like paint another one. I might need a better brush here. Let's see here. Probably a good chance to stretch my back anyways. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I put it. I'm also just kind of buying some time for some layers to... It's important to let layers dry and not overwork them. Sometimes when I live stream, I have the tendency to keep on working on layers just to have something to constantly do. And I think it sometimes makes my models look a little bit too chalky. Sometimes patience is good. Miami sunsets. Ooh, that's a really nice shade. I like the purples and the... Yeah, that's gonna look really nice. Okay, and we're just doing a little bit of edge highlighting here just to bring out these colors a little bit more. and 2 metallic. Summoning Sickness for some green areas, and an orange you glad for. Summoning Sickness. What is that? Problem with Turbodor colors is it's hard to remember what they look like just based off their name. I actually have a little poster with all the. Actually, I should just look at that. Just their line of paints here. This is a fun thing to have. This is very helpful for me when I use them. This is why I have it on standby, just to be like, okay, this is what I can expect it to look like. I was at Gen Con and I bought a bunch. I haven't worked with them yet. My airbrush has been clogged, so it's not clogged. It's just been kind of out of commission. I think my nozzle is bent or clogged or something. Officially only works as designed over blacks and has somewhat different effect over dark colors. Yeah, I haven't experimented with it too much. I did my Maldrix and some Turbodorks just over black. But, I mean, it just seems like there's a lot of fun possibilities with the range. It's a finicky paint. It definitely will test your patience in some ways. But when it really starts working, it really starts working. I painted a Siege in some Turbodorks. Kind of gave him like a whole color shift palette, and he looked really cool. Okay. A little wide on my gray there, but we'll fix that. I'm sorry I'm not talking much. I am kind of focused on some very fine line details here. I'm using the very tip of my brush and just trying to edge highlight some of these tighter spots. Thanks for stopping in. Best of luck to you at work tomorrow. Oh, it is 10:40. All right. Now we're gonna just kind of blend these down a little bit, like we do with the red over here. It's looking like a very nice model there. Well, thank you. Yeah, we're getting there. I've been kind of in a funk for the last couple streams, and I feel like I'm remembering some techniques that I kind of have been too lazy to do. Painting is like any other art form. You know, you just have some days where you just kind of, or some weeks when you're just kind of slumping, where you're just kind of like, I'm not fully feeling it, or I'm not really happy with it, but you just got to kind of keep on doing it and work your way out of it. No, I'm happy with where we're going. I think honestly, paint undertone white allowed me to get the base tone done a lot faster, which I think helped my patience to do some more of these more advanced stuff. Because usually I have kind of a time I like to spend on models. I kind of give it to me just because I have too much stuff to paint. So if I spend too long base coating, then I spend less time doing stuff like this. We're getting there, slowly but surely. This is nice. Once you kind of get to this point of the model, you can kind of keep on building for as long as you want. Yeah, you could never be done with the model. Or you could stop any time and have it be pretty close to what you want. Okay, let's do one more pass of highlights on these yellow armor. I think we'll call it for a night here. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I think we'll probably stop here. I think we made some really good progress. The next steps is going to be me and Silence making tiny little lines and then fixing them and then going back for until I get sick of the process. So yeah, hopefully this gave you some tips. We talked a lot about glazing and blending today, so and building up layers. Like we got some really good volume on this hair here. The armor is still being worked on, as well as the other stuff to make it a little bit more dynamic. But we're getting there. We're really, I'm proud of where this model is going. Thanks everyone for watching. Stay tuned for more stuff, and I'll see you all on the flip side. Bye. Bye.